Right.
No, it's too late for that. Good morning, Guidely. Shannon and Amir here. We're so excited to bring you a little self-love day with authors of Mirror Face, Jordan Gillman and Michael Tyler. So happy you guys could join us.
Thank you guys so much. We're excited to be here.
Very happy to be here.
I'm Jordan Gillman. Michael, you wave. Great.
Here I am, unmistakable.
So we're very excited to share this book with you guys later. Mirror Face is a children's book just published, and it's incredible. It's unlike anything I've seen. It's really beautiful. The messaging is so empowering, and we're so excited. I'd love to hear about you guys and who each of you are in your own right and how you came together with this project.
So,
and I will say that for me, it's not just a kid's book. It's really, I find it as an adult book just as much as it is a kid's book.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's an important distinction. It's a special book, first of its kind. So my name is Jordan Gillman. I was working in corporate America in advertising and media and feeling unfulfilled, and went on my own personal discovery journey to look into my heart of what I wanted to do on this planet. How can I serve? How can I do something meaningful? I picked up the book, The Artist Way, and started this morning practice exercise called Morning Pages that the book promotes, and started writing. And at first it was more of a diary, and then it became more creative. And I, as an adult, started to realize some of the challenges that I was facing was really because of me and the conversation that I was having with myself, and the negative self-talk that would really cause me to not like my mirrored reflection. So I started writing it in a children's book form to almost my inner child, as a way to teach myself how to love myself. And I looked at the aftermath of it all, and I was pretty pleased with it. I started sharing it with some friends, but I didn't really know where to go with it from there. And so I randomly was connected to Michael Tyler when I was meeting with a friend and telling her about some of my ambitions and some of the things I was working on, but had never mentioned a children's book. And so she, I think, just knew Michael and I would energetically align with one another, but again, zero clue that this was an ambition of mine. And so I showed up to the meeting with Michael Tyler, not really understanding of why we were there, but within seconds of his arrival, I discovered what was happening. And so Michael came with his children's book that he had written in 2005 called The Skin You Live In. And I'll let him kind of give you some context into his background. But I think immediately we knew that we were brothers and that we needed to create this project together. Because I think what I've learned from Michael is that this is a book that should be for all ages, that is for all ages. And I think Michael, with his mastery of words, was able to take something that I had created and, as he describes, turn it into a diamond for all ages, versus just for adults, which is really what I had initially aimed for. So Amir, when you had mentioned that it was a book for adults, I think Michael and his genius really helped not only maintain that essence, but also bring it to life for a 4-year-old to understand as well. So Michael, I'll pass the baton to you for any of the dots I missed.
Thank you.
I'm going to pop in here real quick and just we had a bunch just join us, let them know that we are here with the co-authors of Mirror Face, Jordan Gillman and Michael Tyler. And Mirror Face is a book on self-love for all ages, but illustrated very sweetly.
Appreciate you saying that. I would add to what Jordan said, that when we first met, I arrived with, as he said, a copy of my children's book, Skin You Live In. And I did that because that's something I often do. It's a book that promotes a message of acceptance. And anytime I get to promote that message, I try to give it to someone. I had no idea that Jordan had any interest in writing or had any idea that he wanted to do a children's book. And he was excited to see that I had one and present it to me off his cell phone, no less, that he had a manuscript in the making. And when I read it, I immediately realized two things. One was he had written what I tried to write for the last 20 years, because I thought it essential to put a book out into the world about self-love, but to do it in the manner in which he had thought to do it. It wasn't just these blanket compliments that somebody looks into Amir about, it dealt with the emotional range that children have when they come to a point of self-love, beginning with doubt and ending with affirmation. That was the first thing I realized. The second thing I realized was he's really got something. And he realized that looking at me, because my eyes lit up and my head got a lot brighter than it normally is. And I said to him, this is something that we have to do. I don't care if you take it and run with it, but I got to help you do this, because this book has to be out there. To not do it, in my opinion, would be a disservice to children's literature, but also to any kind of social emotional learning that parents and educators are out there doing. I saw it as a tool. So I joined quickly in trying to get him to get this done. And when we were having this meeting, just coincidentally, we were sitting directly across from a children's bookstore. And I pointed to the window, the display window, and I said to him, Jordan, one day your book's going to be there. And the day is coming.
So I got a question before we ask you to read us the book, if you will. What is self-love to you, to each of you, and what prevents us from offering ourselves our own love?
I'll let Jordan take that one first.
So the self-love to me is, I think, as Michael helped me understand, is self-acceptance. Also discovering your authentic self and being it. I think a lot of the times there's a characterization of who I was trying to be for others, to where I was trying to be liked, but I didn't like myself. And so I had to look deeply and to take off a lot of that armor, a lot of that portrayal or that role that I was trying to play and the image that I was trying to present, and drop that all and just be accepting and loving of whatever I was hiding from, whether it was any form of self-consciousness, how I certain characteristics that I might have been made fun of as a kid or as an adult. So I think self-love is really the acceptance of all of me, the good, the bad, and everything in between, versus the portrayal of this perfect entity. Because I think the more I've become compassionate with the idea that we're all imperfect, beautiful beings, and that is in itself what makes us so lovable. I think I was trying to be this image of perfection and then not loving my imperfections. And so once I started to look in the mirror, see me for me, accept all parts of me, and take down my guard in a way of trying to be perfect and really celebrating my imperfections.
And I would add to that this: when I look at the term self-love, I'll begin with the word love. It's a word that we have a great difficulty defining, as we oftentimes have a great difficulty defining very simple words. We think we know their meaning, and I think this is the reason why we oftentimes misuse them. I define love as the ultimate measure of value, because anything you say that you love, you can apply that ultimate measure of value to, whether it's chocolate cake or your child. It's the ultimate measure of value. And when you apply that to self, what that means is that you'll do three things that you value ultimately. One is that you'll preserve it. The other is that you'll protect it. And the third is that you'll promote it. So when you self-love, what you're doing is preserving, protecting, and promoting yourself. And those three things combined produce what Jordan mentioned earlier, is the self-acceptance that we have. And I think that where we oftentimes run into problems with that, as Amir asked, what prevents that? Many things prevent it. We have so much input coming from our homes, from our neighborhoods, from our social group, from society in general. You think about this. By the time children are aged 2 and 3 years old, they're already imprinted with racism and sexism, whether or not it's actively taught in the home. And so anyone who is part of that group that's being affected by it already has their self-love under assault. And so we have to deal with the reality of how do we, when you think about the pandemic and virus environment we live in, how do we inoculate our children against the viruses that would attack their soul, against the viruses that would attack their character, or the viruses that would attack their heart? And the sooner we do that, the better off they will be, because we can't let that disease take hold.
That's really powerful. As a mom, I resonate with that message deeply, and with my inner child. So I love that. So I think this is a great time for us to read the book. And we're so honored to have you voicing the characters in this book. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share the book, and I'd love to hear, what you guys shared with me about the character.
Shannon, I think we lost sound here.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I think we're going to have to look at it small.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and remove Amir and I and let you guys take it away, and I will flip the pages.
Okay.
Okay.
I think so for the audience, Michael has been my guide throughout this entire process. I've been having a bit of self-doubt throughout this personal journey of creating a story that's very personal to me and sharing with the world. And so there's really two characters within the story. There's me and you. And so me plays the part of more of the self-doubt role, and you plays the role of more self-confidence. So we're going to read it as two characters, really. And I think once you see the visuals, you'll get a sense of why we chose that style. But Michael, I'll let you start with the book's introduction.
And that reads as follows. It can be so much fun to look in the mirror and smile and laugh at the faces you make, or stretch and yawn as your eyes become clearer when you open them wide right after you wake. But there's more you can do in front of a mirror. You can say what you think and say how you feel. Because the you that you see in front of a mirror is the you who is true and the you who is real.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm going to start now. Sometimes I stand in front of a mirror and make funny faces or just look and stare. But every time I look in a mirror, there are thoughts that I think that I'd like to share. Wherever I go, whoever I see, I wonder what people are thinking of me. They see my height, my shape, my size. They see my nose, my skin, my eyes. They see the color of my hair. They see the kind of clothes I wear. The me that I am, the me I will be, is sometimes thinking, who is thinking of me? I walk about in many places and look around at many faces. Do people think I'm smart and kind? And do they like the me they find? Once I stood in front of the mirror, asking these questions I ask about me, and the me looking back at me from the mirror gave me the answers that helped me to see.
There's nothing to fear. I've nothing to hide. The me that I am is the you that's inside. So don't you worry how others see you. You know who you are, and I know you too. You laugh like I laugh. I smile like you do. We think the same thoughts. You're me, and I'm you. We have the same hope. We see the same dream. When we are together, you're more than you seem.
You're always there?
We're never apart.
But when I can't see you,
Just look in your heart. I hold a mirror inside of your chest. It will always show you you're you at your best.
the best that I am is inside my heart?
To know who you are, that's where you must start.
And can I become all I dream to be?
I know that you can. Trust me, and you'll see. The reason I'm sure, look at us, you'll agree. It's the best of good reasons, I guarantee. Your eyes can see what nobody knows. You're more than your skin and your size and your clothes. For the you who is true, search your heart and you'll see that my wonderful you is your fantastic me.
Now, when I stand and look in a mirror, I remember the words from my mirror face. The me in my heart is the me at my best. I'll live by these words everywhere, every place. I love you.
I love you, mirror face.
So there it is.
Wow, still gives me goosebumps every time I hear that.
We appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
That requires some serious practice, and I'm not just talking about the reading.
Yeah, it does require some serious practice. It's a daily practice that we have to get used to doing. As a matter of fact, Jordan is big on self-affirmations. He's probably the biggest proponent of self-affirmations. He has several that he does every single day. At the end of the book, where we back matter on the mirror face challenge that we'd like everybody to be a part of, we actually included a self-affirmation, something that children can look into the mirror and say to themselves every single day. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just read that. As I read it, imagine you as a child standing in front of a mirror, looking at your reflection and saying this to yourself, okay? Your greatest dream is to dream about you, whoever you dream to be. And whatever you dream, know this to be true. You can do what you'll do and see what you'll see and go where you'll go to be who you'll be. You can learn what you learn, trust me, and you'll see. If you believe who you are, you'll become who you dream.
So powerful, incredible. Thank you guys for that reading. That was really very sweet. And I hadn't heard you read it together in that way. And it really drives it home that, you know, we have a unique inner voice that it can be difficult to quiet all of the noise and really tune into. And I love the way it was illustrated with both of your different voices narrating.
I appreciate hearing that. We believe that the inner voice is the true voice.
We did one of these classroom exercises, and we asked, like, what does your inner voice of confidence sound like? Is there a superhero, or mine is Michael Tyler. You know, mine is, and for my birthday, he sent me a video and said, you didn't realize that inside of you was a African-American, 6'5" black man. There was just a various way of describing. I think hearing Michael's voice, sometimes we all need our guide. I know this is Guidely, and this is a platform where you promote really what I think Michael and I naturally, or the universe really created for us, was this brotherhood that I know Michael speaks very highly of me and what I've served for him, but I think for me, he's been that inner voice of confidence that without him, there would be no book. There would be no, this would still be in the notes section of my phone. So
I would say that somehow this book would have gotten done without me. I'm just glad to be a part of it. But I think that what Jordan also brought to this conversation about self-love is that when we look around us and we look at the contentious nature of our society, and we look at how divided things are, how hostile and acrimonious things have become in our civil discourse, a lot of this, as Jordan has considered, and I think he's right for saying this, is that we have this dissonance inside of ourselves. We have a disconnect from who we are. We have so much that filters into our mind that's constantly negating who we are, that it defeats the love that we have for ourselves within. And there is no love shown through society that isn't first experienced in the individual. So if we are to heal society, we have to first think of healing ourselves. If we have to promote love through society to counter everything I just got describing, we have to first promote love in ourselves to counter how it affects us. And I think that was one of the other tremendous messages that I saw immediately in what Jordan had written, and the reason why I said we have to get together and get this out there.
Very powerful. I just realized that between Michael and Jordan, we have Michael Jordan here.
Absolutely.
And we're both from Chicago, so go
And
figure.
you're both from Chicago, yeah. So
Right.
so
We are MJ in a different version.
exactly a different version of MJ. So I gotta ask you from. I know you just launched a book, and you had this incredible event in Atlanta, and you've read the book to others. What's your vision? Where do you want to take this? And what is your deepest desire for the impact of this book to be?
For me, from the beginning, we decided to. I created a 100% publishing as a vehicle to publish the book because we were going the untraditional route and not following the traditional publishers who we first went to, and this book didn't fit into their box, which we knew from the beginning. So all along, and I think what I'm most excited about is that now that we're out of the box, we can do anything that we want, including the target audience. To me, this is as important of a book as it is for myself, as it is for my parents, as everyone. I think we all read, I'll just talk for myself. I've attended every self-help conference, I've read every self-help book, and the practice of self-love is something that you can't teach someone else. You can give them tools and tricks, but there needs to be they need to be the one to put it into practice. And I think sometimes the books, coming from someone who has read most of them, they can become overwhelming. You can intellectualize the process of self-love. And I think the idea of us packaging a story into a 2-page book that can be read in under 3 minutes with a simple affirmation, I love you, mirror face, that can be used daily. For me, I want this to be a book for all, a book for every age group. And as I think sometimes when it's written in children's book form, it disarms the reader. It takes away that ego that wants to, hey, no, I know enough over here. Okay, I know how to love myself. But I think this really, takes off that guard and really gives you a nice, easy invitation into loving yourself.
I love that, taking away the intellectualization of it. And, I was listening to the book and looking at the visuals and thought, when is the last time I looked in the mirror and said something nice to myself? That's something I think as adults, we get ready or we rush through, but really taking the time to look at ourselves and look within, but taking that exercise. So is this mirror work, or is this, actually in front of the mirror, something that you do, both of you, as a daily practice? Or
he's taught me how to be more self-confident. He's had a few years on me of practice. And I think I've learned from my elders that when you get older, you start to care a little bit less about what others think of you. Whereas I'm still learning that lesson. For me, I avoided mirrors for a long time because it was so hard for me to see my reflection and to get taken into that negative self-talk world and universe, to where I would be, it would force me into a day filled with self-doubt. So I'm catch myself now in front of the mirror, even when I'm brushing my teeth or washing my face, wanting to look away. And I'm forcing myself to make eye contact with myself and say, I love you, mirror face. And it's still as difficult as it is. By no means am I anywhere close to an expert. In fact, I'm probably on a similar path as most people listening, where I'm just an adult trying to heal their inner child and realizing the same thing that most of us are realizing. We've talked negatively to ourselves for quite some time, and it's not something that can just shift overnight. It's a practice. It's and it's a daily practice, and it's a commitment, because you have to hold yourself accountable to the mirror work, and more so just the any practice that you can do to help that relationship with yourself, and to reaffirm who you really are and speak highly of yourself, and not do what I've done many times in front of the mirror, which is beat yourself up. And so yes, it's a daily activity and something that's still very hard for me. Michael, I don't know about you. Are you better? Are you still working on it?
I still do it every day, and I do it from this perspective. When you think about self-love, you think about a mother and a father who from love create a child. Let's focus on that word, create. I think that self-love is more than positive identity reinforcement. I think through self-love, you get to self-creation. You get to determine who you are, engineer who you are. And that is something that is completely protected from what any judgment has, because it's of your own creation. And because of that, and I have that in mind, when I look in the mirror every day, and I've done this ever since I was 15 years old, I look in the mirror every single day and I say to myself, what are you going to do today to become who you want to be tomorrow? That's how I begin every single day. And that speaks to what I have inside of me that is validated, that makes me think I can even create myself for tomorrow. And to me, that's one of the other benefits of self-love, is that you're empowered with creating yourself.
That's extremely powerful. I wanna talk a little bit more about the process and the dynamic between the two of you, and the guidance aspect of it. And maybe start with you, Michael. Did you have mentor in your life, a guide, someone that you go to? Who's your inner voice?
My inner voice actually comes from two people. If I were to look at it outside of my own intuition, those individuals who have influenced me most of my life was my mother and her first cousin, a guy named Jimmy Rivers, who basically was my surrogate father. They were the ones who told me and made me believe, really, that I could create myself and that there was nothing beyond my scope of imagination that was not doable for me. And so that's what informs me every single day, that there's nothing beyond my imagination that I cannot do. I'm glad and fortunate that I have an ability to write. And when you're writing and you look at a blank screen, every single day you get to create. And all of that is engineered inside your mind. And the universe inside your mind is as limitless as the universe outside of our bodies, because we can do anything we want. I fly up here, okay? And I actually dunk like Michael Jordan up here. And so we can do whatever we want inside our mind. And I think that that was the one thing when I made Jordan realize what the potential of this book was that we can infuse into children that same feeling, that inside their mind, they can create themselves and their universe, and they can become and do whatever it is they want to do.
And Jordan, your process with Michael, how did you, what was it in Michael that enabled you to listen and to take his guidance?
Yeah, I think, you know, the two of us spoke about this at lunch one day, but we talked about the hero's journey. And when you're in the middle of the ocean and you feel like you're on your little raft and you're just praying that you're set out to sea, and you know what you're doing, and because you can't go back anymore, you need a guide. You need someone who can, you know, come out of nowhere in that ocean and be like, I know the way, and take you forward. And I think Michael served as that for me. There was obviously a lot of self-doubt, and I think without his guidance and without his belief in me and the project, I think everyone needs that. I think no one can do anything on their own, which is what I think we've all realized during quarantine, is that we need humanity, we need people, we need one another. And I think Michael has just proven that to me, and that as I've gone out on this journey to look inside my heart and to see what's there, I've realized it's not an individual process. It's really a universal process. And the people that I've met along the way after I've said yes to Michael, and the process of getting it to an illustrator and getting her to bring it to life visually, and then getting it to a printer, and then marketing it, and now talking to you two, it's like everything was divinely timed at the right place. And I think I've met other guides along the way who've enabled me to follow my heart. And I think it's so cool when it happens, because it's like the universe just smacking you right in the face, being like, see, I told you, just keep following it, even when you want to turn back.
And that's a form of self-love, by the way.
Absolutely.
Allowing the guy to come talk to you.
Absolutely.
So I know we have a time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Michael's got to run, and we read the book and it was beautiful. So where can our viewers find this book?
So it's easy. It's the affirmation that we're telling you to do in front of the mirror. I love you, mirror face. We want you to go to iloveyoummirrorface.com. So practice the affirmation and then go to the website. And we're going to be sharing a digital version of the book to your subscribers. We'll share more information about that later. But in the interim, feel free to go to the website and order a hardcover copy.
Thank you both so much. This was incredible. And I look forward to getting my hands on my own copy.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really,
We appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you. And much love to you both.
Much love to you. Much love.
Much self-love.